Welcome to Your Pathway Home. This is Matthew Allen, joined by Jaime Restrepo this morning. Thank you for joining us. We hope that your Sunday is getting off to a great start. Jaime, it's hard to believe it is July the 1st.
Yes, now we're in the second part of the year.
Yeah.
And welcome to all of you. We are so happy because you are with us in this morning with an open Bible and a mind also open to study with us, with search the truth of our Lord. You are very welcome in this morning.
Your Pathway Home is a work of the Kettering Church of Christ. We meet at 4600 Bigger Road in Kettering. We're on the southeast side of Dayton, just off of I-675, maybe about 5 minutes off the interstate. We'd love to have you join us today. Our services begin at 9:30 for our children's devotional. Bring your kids to that. That'd be something great for them to experience. And then at 9:45, we have Bible classes for your children, as well as a great adult class that's being taught right now by Brother Jim Grushon. We're talking about learning self-denial. And then at 10:45, we'll all gather together for our worship assembly today. We would love to have you be a part of that, where we will have praise and prayer and preaching together today at the Kettering Church of Christ. Join us. Find out more about us on the web at ketteringchurch.com. Well, Jaime, you know, this is a live program. We take comments and questions from our guests here on the broadcast every week, and you can participate with us in a variety of ways. You can write on the comment bar on the bottom of your screen here on Facebook Live, or you can email us, and the email address is yourpathwayhome@kettering.church. Again, yourpathwayhome@kettering.church. Or if you prefer, you can call us today, and we'll put your phone call on the air. The number is area code 937-434-8481.
Mark, can I do something different for 1 minute?
Yeah, sure.
I want to say hello to some of our viewers in Miami. Brother Amin Dada, Ilda, and Jennifer. God bless you this morning, and thank you for being with us in this time.
Welcome to the broadcast this morning, as well as we have people from all over the country that watch this broadcast, and viewers from around the world. We appreciate you joining in to be a part of our broadcast every week. Well, Jaime, I want to kind of start out today just a little bit by talking about some things that kind of came through the news this week. This came out, I guess this is dated June 29th, so late on Friday. This came out through Bloomberg News, and the title of the article is called "Freaked Out Americans Desperately Seek to Escape the News." So as you think about, I'm sure all of us probably have some degree of fatigue with what's going on in the country right now. It seems that people's nerves are on edge. And to me, I've noticed over the last year or two, it just seems like a lot of Americans at the drop of a hat can just get angry and get upset over things, and people just start yelling at each other. Or in traffic, people cut everybody off, and then there's road rage, and it just seems that Americans are on edge these days. But the article I want to pull some things out of this, and then we can talk about it, and then we're going to share some scriptures together this morning that I think go along with this and show us how the Christian should behave him or herself in the world today. But the article says that last fall, the American Psychological Association found that almost 2/3 of Americans listed the state of the nation as their primary source of stress above money and work. And more than half of those surveyed believe that America is at its lowest point in history. One psychologist said that almost 70% of Americans feel news fatigue, and that the nation is emotionally exhausted. And one person talks about people's travel plans these days. Most people are going on vacation to relieve stress. One person talks about how he is so distracted by what's going on that he can't even get his work done. And then the article goes on and talks a little bit more about various types of apps that people are downloading on their phones. One app is called Calm, a meditation app, and it is averaging over 50,000 downloads a day, which is up from 40,000 per day just 6 months ago. The KOA Campgrounds of America, which is the largest association of private campgrounds in the United States and Canada, reports that 4 million people have started camping since 2016, including an unprecedented number of people of color. And then there's the TV shows that people are watching. Discovery Channel owns networks like HGTV and the Food Network and TLC. And they report a 12% increase in the time viewers are spending watching their networks since the 2016 election. And then my wife's favorite channel, the Hallmark Channel, they even noted an increase in viewers where people are asked why they watch that network. They say, I want an escape. I want to be reminded there is still love in the world. So this seems to be the state of the United States in 2018, Jaime. And you know, I don't know how much you're on social media these days, but for a lot of us, we're on our Facebook, we're on our Twitter feed, we're looking at things and it just seems like everybody's mad, everybody's upset, and you get wrapped up in these online arguments and discussions. Every other post on Facebook is something political, and it just seems that people are on edge. And one of the things I've noticed is it feels like people will just about say anything to anybody.
Well, brother, let me tell you, this is something that is happening not only in this country, in the United States. It's around the world. I can tell you about my country. And a long time ago, I decided not to continue watching the news. I was so tired and also very upset because the only news that you are listening is bad news.
Yeah.
Bombs, killing people, murders, women being abused, all that kind of news. Seems that the only news that you can hear is not the good news, the bad news, trying to keep the attention of the people. And long time ago, let me tell you, a long time ago, I decided not to continue watching the news. I'm so happy these days because we are with the World Cup in Russia. At least change a little. But in some time, you start to be tired because everybody is just talking about soccer. All the conversations about soccer. And also, I am not a Facebook, that's Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm not a Facebook man.
Yeah.
I decided a long time ago also.
You're one of the few.
Yes. Because, brother, you cannot imagine all the kind of things that people like to put in Facebook.
Yeah.
I go there, I'm here, I'm traveling, I'm tired, I'm taking a shower, somebody's coming to be with me. Every single moment that you have in your life, you like to put in Facebook. Well, I'm tired of that too. That's maybe one of the reasons that some people are thinking to escape to a solitary place where they can be without nothing of this noise that we have around.
Yeah, it's right. And I tell you, you know, I love cell phones. I love my smartphone. I'm an iPhone guy. But I will tell you, there are times it is just nice to turn this off and to get away from it all. But you know, Jaime, when we think about what's going on in the world and our participation in, and I don't think there's anything inherently sinful about social media or watching the news or communicating about things that are going on in the world. We all live in the world. Obviously, we're not of the world because we are Christians, but we live in the world, and so it's a natural reaction, I think, for us to absorb what's going on around us and to talk about it and to do those things. But what disturbs us, and we've talked a little bit about this this week leading up to today, What does disturb us is the fact that how we see many Christians communicating in these venues, and participating in ranting and raving and arguing and just carrying on in various ways that really, if you want to get down to it, do damage and destruction to the cause of Christ. And those are powerful words that I just said, damage and destruction. But it really does. Things that we type online, things that we say publicly, do have a reaction, cause people to have a reaction in a different way if they know that we are a Christian serving God, and yet we are down in the mud, getting ourselves dirty with all kinds of things that are out there and saying things and acting in ways that really shouldn't be. And so we want to talk about that this morning as far as some basic things that Scripture teaches us that we need to remember when we're out conducting ourselves in the world.
Well, we are in this world. Sometimes I would like to have the condition to live in another planet, yeah, without all this environment that we're living in our planet, the Earth. But we want peace, yes? One of the things that I learned a long time ago, and Jesus said that, it's about peace.
Right.
Everybody wants to be in peace, living in peace, having no difficulties with the neighbor or their own family. And in John, the book of John, chapter 14, verse 27, when I read this, Brother Mark, when I became Christian a long time ago, I tried to understand this statement by Jesus Christ. In verse 27, do you want to read it?
Yeah, he says, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Not as the world gives do I give to you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let them be afraid."
Okay, this peace that Jesus is offering is different to the world. You know, in our world, we think that having peace is if I destroy the other one. Mm-hmm. I can do that in many ways. But the teaching of our Lord is totally different about how we can be in peace with the world. That's why he's saying, peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. Not as the world gives do I give to you. And it's something that we can learn only, not in the news. Because when you watch a movie or you are watching a TV program, sometimes that the lesson that we are receiving from them is, you want to be in peace with that guy? Well, do the same thing that he is doing with you.
Yeah.
But with Jesus, it did totally different. Jesus says, if your enemy is thirsty, what I have to do?
Give him something to drink.
Give him something to drink.
Yeah.
If your enemy is hungry, what I have to do?
Feed him.
Feed him.
Yeah.
That's why he's saying, my peace is different to the peace that is offered in the world.
Yeah.
And for us, as human beings, it's very difficult to practice that kind of teaching. That's why we need to remember that Jesus is the way. He's the only way. He's the truth. He's the only way to get peace in this world.
And since we need to remember who he is and who we are, we've been recreated. We are a new creation, and remembering those facts are things that should really help us to understand the importance of how we communicate and how we come across in our world. I want to remind you this morning that we are live, and I'd like to ask our viewers this morning, as far as what do you think about the world that's going on around us? And have there been times where you've gotten online or you've said something to somebody that you disagree with out in the world, and maybe you've blown it? How'd you feel after that happened? What would be some advice you could give to those out there who struggle with these kind of things? And how can we beat this? How can we deal with this? I'd like to hear from some of our viewers this morning on that. You can chat with us online here. You can send us emails, yourpathwayhome@kettering.church. Call us, 937-434-8481, or chat with us on the line below. We'd love to hear from you this morning.
Brother Matt, I was reading the article that you shared with me, and I saw that in the article, I'm trying to make camps where people can go and stay there to be free
Right.
outside of the world where they have been for a long time. One of the things that you have to do is leave the cell phone at
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be disconnected with all this. Yes? Well, we have the best. I remember in this moment, the Apostle Paul, in the book of Philippians chapter 4, because we're talking about the peace that Jesus is living to us, is offering to us. In Philippians chapter 4, verse 7.
Yeah, this is a great passage. And look at both 7 and 8
Yes.
here
Yes.
In Philippians 4. He talks about the peace of God. And listen, you as God's son or daughter possess that peace. Jesus has given that to you. And we've got to reach out there and grab it.
That's why we were reading in John 14 that the peace that he's giving to us is not as the world is offering the peace to the people.
Right, right. And so he says, the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. And then verse 8, and this I think is something that we really need to put into practice. We're talking about the things that we're taking in, and a lot of the news media and social media and all of those kind of things. There's a lot of negativity and things that can just get us riled up. Notice, though, what Paul says that we need to be doing. He says, finally, brothers...
But before that, Mark, I would like that we begin in verse 6.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's connected with verse 7 and 8.
Oh, right, right. Well, if you go back to verse 6, do not be anxious about anything. How many of us need to hear that? There's a lot out there that can fill us with anxiety.
My brother, it's around the world. The anxious, how people are living in that condition, thinking in the next day,
Right.
or the next week, or the next month, or the next year. They are very anxious about what is going to happen, what I'm going to do in 3 days from today. Jesus teaches to us that we have to live each day at a time.
One at a time.
One at a time.
Yeah, so do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and application with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. Maybe instead of more time of taking things in, I make a conscious decision to spend more time pouring my heart out to God. And the question really is how often are we doing that? How regularly are we, and how good are we in our prayer life? And notice the result of that. When we will, then verse 7 again, when I'm filling my life up with prayer, with the pouring of my heart out to God, then guess what the result of that is? It's peace. The peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. Then verse 8, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things. And I just want to set up the context. Think about, Jaime, when you think about Paul in his day and everything that was going on. You have the Roman Empire, you have persecution of Christians, literal persecution of Christians. You have all kinds of turmoil. You have war going on. You have disease. You have just an unbelievable amount of things going on, even in Paul's world, that he could have focused on and just gotten himself down and filled with anxiety and worry. And yet here he's saying, no. You focus on these good, wholesome things that will uplift you and encourage you.
Brother, well, good. I was reading these passages. Somebody come to me and say, Brother Jaime, I have this difficulty. I don't know what to do. I'm despair. I'm thinking to commit suicide. I want to go to a place where nobody knows me. How can I have peace in my life? Well, here we have the Holy Spirit through the Apostle Paul telling to us what we can do. But we cannot stop here just reading these verses. They are so nice, they are so beautiful, they are the Word of God. But at the second part of verse 9, that's something that I want to read. Practice.
Right.
Verse 9, the second half. Practice these things, and look, and the God of peace will be with you.
Yeah.
What I have to do?
I got to do it. I got to put it into action.
Yes,
Yeah.
not just to read the Bible, not just to listen. I have to live. I have to practice. I have to be involved with God is saying in these verses.
Yeah.
Yeah?
It's the willful cooperation with God and actually applying what He says to our life. And look, it doesn't get much more practical than this. You know, none of us are saying that we should just bury our head in the sand and pretend not to know what is going on in the world around us. I don't think we're trying to say that at all.
Do you know why the people don't put your head in the sand?
Why is that?
Why come that expression?
I didn't know where.
Well, I learned that a long time ago. I don't know the name of this animal in English, but it's from Australia. The big bird.
The koala?
The koala?
I don't know. That's a little thing.
No, it's the big avestruz.
Ostrich?
Ostrich.
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
the big one.
Yeah.
When he feel that, when he's with tremor, with afraid, when he's afraid, he put his head on the sand. Yeah? Trying to escape with all the things that are around, with all the problems.
Right.
And some people, well, that's why we use the expression for us.
Putting your head in the sand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we're not advocating that you do that. Not at all. I think we need to be informed. Jaime, before we were cut off due to our internet issues, we're talking a little bit about the problem is not the social media in and of itself. The problem is not the things that we have and all of that in and of itself. It is really our attitude and our decision to not let these things control our life. That's where we've got to make a decision, is to be sure, to be totally sure that we have the right attitude and that mostly in our life we are allowing God and His will and His word to control what's going on inside our life. I think you have a passage that you wanted to kind of wrap up our discussion with today.
Oh, yes, brother. When Jesus began His ministry with His Sermon on the Mount, He said something that is very important for us. In chapter 6 of Matthew, verse 34, He said, "Therefore, do not be anxious about tomorrow, for tomorrow will be anxious for itself. Sufficient for the day, it its own trouble."
Right. Sufficient for the day is its own trouble.
Yes. One day at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the day that I'm living. I don't know if I'm going to have the opportunity to be alive next morning. What can do? Just enjoy this moment. Yes? Try to be the kind of person that God asks that you have to be today. Don't make plans for tomorrow because it's uncertain.
Yeah, there is no guarantee.
Yes.
I'll give you an example. I do watch the news most mornings just to kind of get a basic grip of the headlines that are out there for the day. And one of the things that the cable news networks are doing right now is they're talking about 2018 elections, and then they're talking about the 2020 elections, and getting people worked up over all of those things. And I'll tell you, there is absolutely no guarantee that the world will still be in existence this November when we vote again.
Yes.
Or even in 2020. There's no guarantee of that. In fact, it's not only just that, but our lives are so fragile that we may die before those events come. And so Jesus is underlining for us, I think, a very, very, very important point that we need to remember. And when we will put that into practice, suddenly that peace of God that we've been talking about is something that will come and fill our life.
Well, brother, you know, we have a background. Now we are Christians. And we cannot continue living like in the past.
Right.
And the Apostle Paul, he said in 2 Corinthians 5:17, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, the new has come. We have a future, a better future, the best one with God, where nothing of this is going to exist in that place that Jesus went to prepare for us.
Yeah, it's the world to come that we need to be most concerned about and really living our lives around. We are here as a temporary existence, camping toward Canaan's land is the way the old song goes that we all grew up singing, and that's what we're doing. We are camping toward Canaan's land. We're looking for that eternal home. And really what happens here, who the president is, who the president's not, all of that in reality is not going to matter in the big scheme of things. We can't replace our relationship with God with the things of this world. Well, Jaime, we're a little past 8:30 now, and again, we see many of you kind of rejoining the broadcast. We again apologize for our technical difficulties this morning with the broadcast. We appreciate your patience with that. We want to remind you that our broadcast is live every Sunday morning at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And you can join us and be a part of the broadcast by sending in your comments and questions, and we'll answer those live on the air. If you'd like to view the archives of your Pathway Home, you can do that. The Kettering Church has a YouTube channel, and you can go to youtube.com and type in Kettering Church of Christ and find our channel and get to all the archives of this broadcast, as well as a lot of preaching and teaching that goes on here. But it'd be something good for you to explore on YouTube. Visit us on the web at ketteringchurch.com to learn more about us. We'd love to hear from you. And we'd especially love it if you'd be our guest today at the Kettering Church of Christ. Our services are at 9:30 for our children's devotional, 9:45 for our Bible classes, and 10:45 for our worship. I hope you'll join us today at the Kettering Church of Christ. Until this time next week, may God bless you as you serve Him. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for being with us, and remember, we have a place